Hello history fans and welcome back to the channel. This week we are visiting Tilbury Fort, one of England's best examples of a 17th century bastioned fortress. The fort is located on the north bank of the River Thames, just to the east of Tilbury Docks. You can see from above the unique layout of the fort with its inner and outer moats. The modern entrance to the fort is through the Watergate. Finished in 1682, its elaborate facade is built with Portland stone and has an inscription commemorating Charles II. Once inside the fort, we make our way to the chapel, which sits above the guardhouse. It is one of the oldest surviving chapels built as part of a British artillery fortress. The garrison's regimental colours would have been displayed inside. Leaving the chapel, ahead of us we look over the parade ground, with the foundations of the soldiers' barracks on the left. These were two-storey buildings, each divided into small square rooms containing a fireplace, table and benches and 2 beds, with 4 men per room. Turning back to the left, we see the West Bastion. Tilbury Fort is enclosed in an earth rampart which is faced by a brick curtain wall. The fort has 5 equal sides, with a bastion at each corner, although only 4 were completed. Each bastion has 2 faces and 2 flanks. This allowed the artillery and infantry to have a clear view of the approaches to the fort, and also a clear view across to adjacent bastions. Their design was first used in Italy in the early 16th century. Above the entrance passage of the Watergate are 2 floors which provided accommodation for the master gunner. This was an important officer in the garrison, in charge of all of the fort's artillery. Adjacent to the Watergate also stood the sutler's house, occupied by a civilian who sold food, drink and other items to the soldiers. In the 19th century it became a canteen. The southeast curtain contains the main artillery along with the northeast bastion. These were installed in the 1870s and had brick serving rooms below. However, modifications were made between 1902 and 1904 to create new concrete emplacements, infilling the old ones. The 3 quick-firing guns installed on this curtain date from 1898, 1902 and 1942, and were for the use against torpedo boats and armoured warships. At this point, it's worth giving a brief history of the fort. It was initially one of several blockhouses built under Henry VIII from 1539 to prevent hostile shipping from proceeding up the Thames to London. These blockhouses were D-shaped towers with artillery mounted at ground level and on the roof, and surrounded by a small rampart and ditch. Not much changed until the restoration of Charles II in 1660. The need for a standing army and permanent garrisons at strategic locations led to the current layout of the fort being built from 1670 to 1685. Dropping down from the southeast curtain, we see the officers' quarters. The present structure dates from 1752. Officers had better accommodation than ordinary soldiers. A junior officer could expect at least 2 rooms, with senior officers having more. Let's explore the gunpowder magazines. These 2 large structures held vast quantities of gunpowder to supply the General Army and the Navy in the early 18th century. The East magazine was completed in 1719 and had thick walls and heavy buttresses. A blast wall was built around them for both security and also to provide protection to the garrison in the event of an explosion. Inside the magazine, to minimise the risk of a spark, there was no ironwork, and the floorboards were secured to joists with wooden pegs. The floor is raised on brick arches, and vertical slots in the walls keep the building cool and dry to stop the gunpowder from getting damp. The magazine would have been stacked up to within 2 feet of the roof. At the end of the passage between the magazines is the landport gate, which served as the entrance from the road across the marshes. The outer defences comprise 2 concentric moats separated by a low rampart. The inner bridge is a replica of the original and has 2 drawbridges which can be lifted to prevent access. It crosses the inner moat to a small triangular island called a ravelin, which was itself enclosed by a rampart and gates. Our final stop is the north-east bastion. New emplacements were installed on the rampart here between 1868 and 1871, with dedicated magazines, shell stores and cartridge stores built underground. These underground rooms were covered in a mound to protect them, with a ventilator above to keep them dry and cool. Above each of these rooms were serving rooms on the rampart above for each gun.